Hey everyone, we are back for another exciting rehearsal. This week, and the DCI rumor mill is spinning. Our hosts are ready to get you through it. We will find out what made Nicole say.
Because I was thinking about other names I had down here too, but I was just like, no.
And why Austin said.
Yes, I do want to gush and go. Speaking of the troopers, I do want to gush and go.
All this and more to get on the field, and we will see you back on the sidelines for this week's episode of On a Water Break.
8 off the mat and go.
Welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts.
Everyone, bring it in. It's time for a water break.
Welcome to another episode of Season 2 of On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. I'm Trish O'Shea. Well, here we are. Labor Day weekend has come and gone, and now the Corps are allowed to spill the tea on who's coming and who's going. We have a great group as well as a fantastic guest to help you get through all of this with some great stories. So let's see who's on the sidelines this week. Nicole, we loved the recent episode with the fierce, chewy, saber-spinning drag queen. How was that?
Oh, yeah, no, it was great. It was really cool to actually hear about how Chewy wanted to go around from other to other landmarks and spin. I think that would be very cool. And there's some people he could really hook up with. Yeah,
absolutely.
To do that. It just sounds like it would be, I don't know, just something out and about in the community, in the world, and not in a gym or on a football field.
Absolutely. Austin, how are you?
I am good. Busy season is starting here. We are in full swing. Too many travel plans are being booked. I'm not mad about that whatsoever. But I'm going everywhere. I'm not mad.
I actually hear that you're going to Costa Rica and you're going to give us a little On a Water Break Costa Rica style.
That is correct. I'm going down there tomorrow. I'm going to go. Yeah. One of my former students from Troopers is he helps run there's a big cultural marching band thing that they do down there. And
awesome.
The Troopers previously had a connection before or in 2019, 2020.
Okay.
So that's how those students showed up, and then he texted me and a couple other people, and we're like, "Hey, can you come down and judge these auditions?" And we're like, "Heck yeah, why not? Come on!" So we're like, "Heck yeah!" So they took care of everything. I'm flying out tomorrow at noon, and then I'll be back on Monday, and I get to hang out in Costa Rica and judge some auditions.
Excellent. That sounds so great.
I'm so excited. I'm really so excited.
Oh, Jeremy, how are you?
Hello. It's good to be back. I am doing pretty well.
Good. We haven't talked to you since DCI finals. So what were your final takeaways from championships?
Wow. This year I had the privilege of actually going to both prelims and semifinals along with all-age championships. And this season was absolutely incredible. It was so cool seeing the DCA world join with the Drum Corps International world becoming one. From what I was looking at, the numbers seem to have gone incredibly high in terms of the number of fans who would go out to Rochester versus the number of people who are in Indy that ended up going to see the all-age championships, which it's always cool to see the activity growing in all different sorts of ways.
I've been hearing nothing but rave reviews. I'm working at Marching Band with a bunch of caballeros, and they can't say enough. I mean, we had Nick from Bushwhackers on a few weeks ago. He couldn't say enough good things about the all-age championship, so that was proved to be a really big success.
Yeah, as someone that was my first opportunity getting to see all-age live, I had seen a few videos on Flow Marching, but I had never gotten to see it in person, and I was absolutely blown away. So many people are like, oh, it's older people, they don't really, they're not as committed as the young kids, and it couldn't be the opposite. Everyone, from the bottom to the top, everyone is so committed to putting out a great product, regardless of what group they're with.
Yeah, I would say with all age, just to jump in here, those are the diehards. You march next to somebody like that.
Absolutely.
And, they are just it's in my blood now. I can still do everyday life and still do, all age
Mhm.
drum corps, which is hard. So
Oh, yeah.
I give them all of the praise.
Oh, yeah. And very soon, Ricardo may be taking his water break and joining us. So we'll be looking forward to that. But let's get into the news. Okay, I'm going to take the first story. This one is near and dear to my heart. My boyfriend sent it to me at work yesterday, and I was like, wow, right down the block here. I live in South Hackensack, New Jersey, but my town feeds into Hackensack High School. And Hackensack High School is going through a little bit of drama right now. There is a call for new marching band uniforms with one parent who actually is a teacher in the district. She's saying that the band has grown from 12 students to 75 in just 3 years, and they don't have enough uniforms. So she was quoted as saying, "We now have more marching band members than we have band uniforms. Their current uniforms are over 12 years old, and they've served their purpose." Now, living in this area, and I reached out to a bunch of friends of mine that I work out with that live in Hackensack, and they were like, I said, "Does anybody have a connection here? Can I find out what's going on?" And they sent me, a couple of, people on Facebook. I tried to friend request them so I could really get the scoop, but they may not have seen it today. But I know that there'll be Hackensack's like the biggest city in our county, Bergen County. So I'm sure that there's going to be a resolution to this, but it just made me feel so sad and made me feel, I was going to approach them in two different ways. I was going to approach them in, we do this podcast. Can I get, the story on there? Can I get you to kind of say what's going on from the inside? But I was also going to, approach it as a guard director myself and say, "I'm right up the road in Old Sapan. Can I get you anything? Can I help you with anything? Can I get you in touch with Guard Closet? Can I get you in contact?" So I know that there'll be a resolution to this, but just made me really sad to think that my hometown high school here doesn't have enough band uniforms.
If anything, it's a good because the program's growing.
Exactly.
But I really do, and hopefully this gets out to those people that can actually do something. Like, and I guess my other question is, and maybe you did say something about this, but are they having any issues with money?
I don't think so. I don't think that's going to be the issue. I think from my standpoint, I tried to get in touch with people, apparently the band director and the assistant band director both, I believe they're married. I don't want to, talk out of school, but they both have the same last name. They both work in the high school, and that was one of my friends sent me, "Oh, here's, two people to talk to," and I looked them up, and they were band teachers. So I think this is just somebody trying to fix an immediate problem that there's probably a long-term solution to. Probably the district didn't realize that this was happening, or wasn't paying close enough attention, which they should be. I mean, the band's performing in football games, right?
Right.
So, I think that, but I get that parent's perspective too. I mean, I want my kid out there in a uniform. So I don't know what they're doing. I mean, if I didn't have a game tomorrow night with my team, I'd probably run over there and see what they're wearing, what they're doing, and offer some help. And again, get them in touch with Guard Closet. But, I just, I feel bad, and anything I could do, I really want to do for them.
Well, you're actually doing it,
Yeah.
You're putting their information out to everyone so that they can either reach out or, be aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin, I think you have a solution to those of us, we were just talking about all age earlier, to those of us who are missing going to Rochester in September.
Trish, I know you miss going to Rochester, right?
I don't.
No, you don't?
I
See, I've
don't.
never been, so I don't know.
I don't.
I used to live in Rochester when
I know.
the state finals were happening.
Nicole, did you miss going there? Or living right by it? Or
I mean, it was easy.
Sure.
You didn't have to travel. It wasn't like a long ride to Scranton.
Yeah. Well, for those of us who do miss Rochester, there is a HBCU football classic going on Saturday, September 21st. It is a football game between Central State University and Albany State University. It starts off with a tailgate party from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's $25 to attend. The actual game's at 1 p.m. There's a battle of the bands, 5th quarter, right after the game ends. And honestly, that's probably going to be the highlight of the whole event.
Right.
So
it's going to be cool.
Yeah. I do love watching YouTube videos of a good battle of the bands. And seeing that happen in the Northeast is pretty cool. Usually, a lot of the great HBCU bands are down in down in the Southeast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like one of my friends went to NCA&T, and I got to see a couple, and he would send me videos of it all the time. I'm like, I love it. I love this. This is so great. But going to Rochester and kind of exposing it to a community that may not see HBCU all the time could be a good outlet. And if you want to if you want to go to Rochester and you want to see some band there,
when is it again?
Fun. It's the Frederick Douglass HBCU Football Classic. And that's going to be on Saturday, September 1st, Rochester Community Sports Complex, where they held DCA for many, many, many years. So check it out. $25 to go, and there's I think it's there's football, there's battle of the bands. What more can you ask for on a fun Saturday that you might be at a rehearsal, or if you don't have a rehearsal, show up.
So I'll just jump in there really quick. It's the 21st.
Yes, September 21st.
Okay, that's cool.
Jeremy, what do you have for us?
So, unfortunately, my story isn't quite as fun as everyone else's. Taking a look at this, we have a band from Louisville High School, and what they would do at the beginning of their football games is to greet the audience. The drum major would salute to the audience and say hi. Unfortunately, this tradition seemed to be similar to the salutes that were done by Germany during the Second World War, very unfortunately. Yeah, no. Definitely. And while perhaps to the average person they wouldn't think of that, unfortunately to many Jewish members of their community, they found this offensive, and we're not in any place to judge what they believed was offensive. I mean, it was them that had to directly deal with this, and the generation after generation since has just been incredibly difficult for them.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, the band looked at it, the superintendent looked at it and said, hey, we see where you're coming from, we can make some adjustments. And now they still greet the audience, but the salute is much different. It's very far away from what it used to be. They'd still greet the audience, but it wouldn't be as was compared to the Nazi salute.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad that, honestly, that the school board looked at that, and whoever they went to, actually, I don't know, but, listen to them and said, yeah, okay, let's fix this.
Absolutely.
I like that, that was a community coming together to do.
Yeah, it's really great to see. Unfortunately, I've seen far too many instances where the community we've done this tradition my entire life and we have to defend it. It's not like you're defending the school existing. It's a name. It's not something. It's not that big. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
You're making. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and by the way, when are the Kansas City Chiefs going to stop? I was just watching the beginning before we came on of the Ravens-Chiefs game, and I mean, okay, secretly, I mean, I love sports, I love football and all that, but I really just wanted to see Taylor. It's okay. But when are they going to stop with the like when? I mean, they know what's going. They obviously know what's going on in society, and so many things are being canceled and changed and whatever. Like, I just feel like they're just like, we're not changing it. We don't care what anybody says. So that's another topic for another What Are We Doing? But whatever. Nicole, I hear you have a great story for us.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I think everyone saw the video. Did y'all see the video of Vice President go and went into a band room?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes, I loved it.
And everyone was like, "Oh, well, why didn't they get up and jump and everything like that?" And I was like, "Probably Secret Service told them to stay in their seat because they look like a big band."
Yeah.
But there is there's an article that was in Classic FM. It was an article that they had on their website about Kamala Harris. She played French horn and percussion in high school. And penchant for Gershwin. What does that mean, penchant? Like she just loves Gershwin?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I have a penchant for the Yankees.
Okay. Got you. Well, yeah, so they had thank you. So they had videoed her, going in and seeing them and doing that, and then, talking to the kids about that.
So cool.
She was on this was a campaign stop, like support for campaign. And her running mate was in Minnesota. Walsh was in Minnesota. And so she went to, this is Liberty County High School in Hinesville, Georgia. And as soon as they walked in, you could see it. The kids were gasping and like cheering and stuff like that. And they were in practice. So, and on a Wednesday night. So that's, when the vice president showed up with Tim Walsh. But after hearing them play a few bars, like Harris said, I was in band when I was your age. And I'm sure that floored so many of those kids. But she said, I played French horn, and I also played xylophone and the vibraphone. And she also said that she did a little kettle drums. And I think that's when everyone started cheering even louder for her, because she used to do kettle drums. The band leader did describe Harris as a woman of many talents. Let's see, Walsh even said, your single instrument alone is an amazing thing, but as part of this band, it becomes really amazing. So what they just put together a bunch of little things that they played for them. Basically, they were at a rehearsal, so they just played everything that they were, having for rehearsal. Yeah. And, it was a pretty, I don't want to say random, because they were there specifically for something, but I mean, as a kid, I don't know. I think I would have my phone out so that I could take a picture of the vice president.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's cool. I think I'm loving the fact that we are getting to see more everyday people going into these music spaces.
Absolutely.
It's very good.
Yeah.
There is something I do want to add, and I mean, I would hope that you all are okay with me saying this. But yesterday, speaking of Haynesville, Georgia, there was I don't even know if I should say the word, but Appalachia High School in Georgia yesterday. They had a school shooting. So I just wanted to put out there to everyone that's listening, and if there's any people from Appalachia High School, we are really, really, really thinking about you all.
Absolutely.
And hoping that everyone heals. I know that there were a good number of people that went to the hospital, and they're expected to make a recovery. And
thank God.
For those families that lost anyone, again, we are all thinking about you.
1,000%. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem. But that was my story.
Okay. Well, we have a lot more reps to do, including an interview that our own Jackie Brown recently did with our friend Bill Woody Woodward. All this and more. So we'll see you after this next rep.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Sideline. I am here with Woody, one of our hosts. Hey Woody.
Hey, how you doing, Jackie?
I'm doing good, and we are chatting today because you have become a mega newsmaker, the Philadelphia Inquirer, right? Right?
Yeah, that's me. That's
That is
me.
awesome. I'm so excited for this. So we saw the article, and you basically, I mean, you're just doing what you do. You got hired to be band director, but you have, like, it's so much more than that for these kids. So do you want to talk about what happened with this program?
Oh, first off, I'm shocked that the world found out because it was supposed to be on the DL. I took the job. I don't usually go around telling people, "Hey, guess what? I got a new job.
Right.
Congratulations!" I don't
Right.
look for that validation. And I somebody texted me and said, "Hey, this Collinswood is looking for someone to fill this position. Are you available?" And I said, "Well, let me take a look at it." So I took a look at it. I didn't know that some student in the program had gone across the earth to try to find a band director because they knew that their season was in jeopardy. And I got there, and then all of this stuff just started to fall in place. The news articles, the people congratulating it just exploded. And now everyone's like, "Oh, that's so fantastic." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. It's just what I do."
Well, honestly though, it really is meaningful for these students. Like, these students have been in this program, and it's been such a good program. And am I understanding this correctly? Their previous band director actually passed away. So it
Yes,
wasn't
I
like
was.
they were being abandoned or anything.
The previous band director, I just happened to have been friends with him also, but he passed away about a year and a half ago, and then they
Okay.
made it through. He passed away during the winter season, and they made it through the winter, and then the middle school band director took over, and she was unable to do it this year, and then the job opened up, and they were in jeopardy of not having a program. So here
And
we
that's
are.
I feel like that's happening all over the country. We, like, even here, just in my small town, we've gone through so many band directors and music
Oh,
teachers, and it's turnover year after year after year. And it's great that you're able to step in and take the program and lift it up like that, especially for these kids who, band is their lives.
well, apparent. I'm their third band director, and in less than 2 years.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a roller coaster. Changes of emotion, changes of how things will be run. They had the temporary window when just the staff was running this, so you know what usually happens with that. It takes a
Right.
while for things to settle in correctly. So, hopefully I'll be able to bring some stability to them. They seem very happy after the band camp. Um, they just assumed that they weren't going to have a competitive season. I came in, took a look. Oh, okay, we're good. We're good. And
Yeah, they've clearly got some good training.
yes, they did have very good training. The staff was very competent enough to keep things afloat while they found a person to come in and put it together. So now here I am, and hopefully you know I'll be with them for quite some time, and we'll move forward. It's exciting. I like building programs.
It is fun. So what are some of your plans for them? Can you reveal to us, or is that on the DL too?
No, not at all. Actually, my plans are they're very young.
Mhm.
One of the things that the staff had expressed to me, they're like, "Oh, I don't know. The band's real young, and they have eighth, ninth, and 10th graders. We only have one senior. I just don't know." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what a gold mine!" you know, if
Yeah.
you like building programs, what? I won't graduate
That's
anybody
the
for the
perfect
next
thing.
3 years. Like, look, bring me in. You love to eat this first year, lay down the cement, and then we go. So, I picked a program that very accessible to the football crowd, very accessible to the band crowd, and one that was easy for them to enjoy playing. It's an Egyptian theme. Usually, those kind of shows are not hard to wrap your brain around.
Yeah.
The music is kind of fun. The music is probably a grade lower than they should be, but they only got music 2 weeks ago. So rather than
Yeah.
no drill, no nothing. So rather than to stress the program out, let's just take a step back. Like I said, they're young, building for the future. So it's very exciting. I had to say the drum corps community has reached out to help the program also. So
Wow.
they a lot of the things that some, I guess, people of my standards would expect to have the equipment and things they just don't have. The program
Yeah.
just didn't have that kind of stuff, and the Jersey Surf was very willing to help me out with a lot of stuff. United Percussion has come forward, their director, to help us out with a lot of things like that. So it's very exciting that the people here in South Jersey have pulled together for it, and it's all because of that Inquirer thing. Hey, I saw you in the newspaper. I'm thinking, who reads the newspaper anymore?
Well, I mean, I said I saw it in the newspaper too, but it was like a Facebook link to a website, and
It's funny too because it was one link, but then someone else reposted it, and it reached
right.
another, and it got reposted to. I'm a former bushwhacker. It got reposted to the bushwhacker homepage, which then boom, 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 and I'm just getting hit for like a week from everywhere. Like, oh my god, people in California now know I just got this job through the Inquirer. But I guess it's cool.
That's the amazing thing about our whole community is that everybody is so willing to come together. Probably a lot of those people have been there. They've been in a program that has had to be rebuilt before. They know what it takes. And, we're just ready to be there for each other. I wouldn't have been able to start a not-for-profit if it wasn't for people that I had marched with and people that I knew coming in and helping, build things up. And that's, that's what it's all about, really, is helping each other out.
It is all about it. It's funny you said about the community. I have a running joke. I'm always like, drum corps is like West Virginia. Everybody's family.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, I know that's great. But you know me, I'm always great. No, but it is very appreciative to the amount of people who have reached out and wanted to offer helping hand. I had several people who even offered to write the drill for free.
Excellent.
I got a. They had purchased a program that was well beyond the means of the program at that time, and so another drum corps friend gave me a brass arranger, gave me a show. Yeah,
Nice.
hey, I need some material. How much you going to charge me? Oh, don't worry about it. Here, take this. Like, wow. Okay. So, just to have those kind of contacts was just very fantastic. Very fantastic.
Well, that's awesome. And we're going to have a really good eye on your program this year because we're expecting great stepping stones to get up there. Like I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you guys pull off.
I try to warn my staff, you're now officially on the map. Unfortunately, but fortunately, you are officially on the map. We can't be bad. We can't be bad. It's just not allowed now. I mean, if we're rough, as long as we survive, that is the most important part. But
yes, the world's watching. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm striving for the excellence more so than the demand, and does it look great? Entertaining? Was it very achievable? I think that's a goal that's going to work for them.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Woody, for saving this band program and for talking to us about it today. This is awesome. Like I said, we will definitely be keeping an eye on this throughout the season. And good luck to you. I really, really hope it goes well for you.
I hope it goes well too. And I guess I'll see you on the next water break, huh?
Yep. See you then.
Hey, this is Christine Ream.
And Chris Green.
Guard Closet was founded as a consignment business in 2000. Since then, it has grown to include winter guard, band, percussion, and other genres.
We can help you with custom flag and costuming designs.
Our consignment inventory has plenty of great looks for your color guard, drumline, and marching band.
Pay it forward. When you purchase consignment, you help other programs. Last year, we sold over 400 sets of consignments and returned over $125,000 in payments to our consigners for their sales.
Additionally, Guard Closet offers custom and pre-designed costumes, flags, floors, and formal wear, full or partial show writing, educational programming, and other services.
Max out your rehearsal time and set up a microsite for easy student ordering for shoes, gloves, and other equipment.
The Guard Closet team is here to help you get everything you want and need for your season. Check us out at guardcloset.com and follow us on social media.
Well, friends, the DCI streets have been hot since championship weekend ended. I've been waiting to dish all the staff change gossip with you all. We were supposed to have the new staff ensemble coordinator from the Blue Knights with us today, Ronnie Pruitt. But when you live on a boat, you kind of don't really have a great internet connection. But he's graciously agreed to come back on and do an interview with us really soon. So look forward to that. But while we're on the topic of the Blue Knights, I mean, they really have seemed to be a core that was a perennial finest, really up until, right before the pandemic. But since COVID, they've been through a lot of staff changes. It's really good to see that, Ronnie's going to kind of, we've spoken to him about, he's not really in this, for a resume build. He just wants to help out and give back. So, what do you guys think of that? What's been going on with the Blue Knights the last couple of years?
I will tell you that Blue Knights for me were that cerebral drum corps, and I loved it. I loved it because it made you think. And so, yes, I love them for that reason. And the fact that their drum majors they would make up new patterns. So that, I loved it. I was like, oh, I don't know what oh my gosh,
Yeah.
But as far as, as far as how the drum corps is doing now and what they've been putting out now, it's great to catch up and see them. And I love the fact that a lot of people that I know are, working there too.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Well, and then Ronnie. So when I met Ronnie, I was living in Houston. So it was probably my first or second year when I lived in Texas. And there was a group of us, educators, honestly, it was color guard, percussionists, horn line members, whatever. We all went out for New Year's, did the really cool New Year's. We went out and ate dinner at a really fancy place. I had lamb. So good. Oh, well, hello, Ricardo.
Hi, Ricardo.
Bonjour, everyone.
Ricardo be taking his water break right now.
Listen, I just got off a design call, so.
Oh, nice.
We'll be ahead for Drum Corps DCI 2025, y'all.
All right. We'll get to that in a little bit. So right now, Ricardo, just to catch you up to speed, Ronnie Pruitt popped on, but we couldn't really get it to work out so well because Ronnie lives on a boat.
That's cool.
Yeah, right? So, it didn't work out for tonight, but he's going to come back soon and do a one-on-one with us. So we're kind of dishing a little bit about the Blue Knights and the staff changes they've been through the last couple of years. And Nicole's been giving us some really good insight on, the direction, that they've been on and, where they're going to go. So if you have anything you want to jump in with, go right ahead.
Cool.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. So, but as far as like how this goes now, are we jumping into who's in there?
We
jump
could.
in? Yeah.
So, it seems like obviously we've talked about this before. The core with the first big splash this season was the Troopers. Immediately right after DCI finals, Lindsay Schuler announced on her social media that she, along with her significant other and pretty much the whole visual staff from the Troopers, were let go. So that kind of started the rumor mill going. We've all seen some of the names that the Troopers are bringing in. So let's talk about that a little bit. Austin, you'd be the perfect person to tell us a little bit about the Troopers.
I am the resident trooper here. So they have brought in a trio of great people in terms of visual, in terms of like the whole visual caption. Andrew Ebert is going to be writing the drill.
Mm-hmm.
Molly, if I pronounce this wrong, I know I am. I think it's Molly Fave. Did I do that right?
Well, it's Edgerton actually.
Yeah,
Edgerton.
Fave Edgerton.
Yeah.
Yes, they're bringing her in to do the visual aesthetic for the whole program. And then Joshua Brennis is going to be the visual caption head. He is a very dear friend of mine. We have competed against each other in WGI wins for for half a decade now, and he is the designer and visual caption head for Strike Winds out of South Florida, and was most recently the visual caption head at the Cadets from 2020 until they had their unfortunate demise. But he's a great dude. I really trust what he's going to do with the program there. I'm kind of having a big worlds collide moment. I'm loving it. But I think that visual program is going to be in good hands. I'm excited to see what they put out. I really am.
Yeah. I think. They seem to be, very. Okay, we're not. Okay, we took it this far. Now, how can we take it a little further? And we're taking it this far. How can we take it a little bit further? So you're right. I'm, pretty excited.
I know Tim Snyder very well. He was my very first brass caption head in 2016. And that man, he does not settle for anything less than great. That's just how he is. That's his mindset. That's how he goes. That's how he does things. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I have a lot of opinions. I'm going to reserve them because, but yeah.
Well, I just wanted to talk about an outsider's perspective looking into Troopers because you've been there, so you know what the culture is, what the legacy entails, and things like that.
Sure.
I just looking at the last 3 years, even, let's do that. Looking at the last 3 years, with all these people that are coming in, I think it's great what they bring with them because you can just tell. Like for Molly, it's those little details that if they weren't there, it would look wrong and you wouldn't know why.
Right.
But because they're there, you know what I mean? Like it's full. It's what I like to call like part of the meat and potatoes. You've got the drill, you've got the choreography, you've got the music. Oh, well, let's take a little bit more time and I don't know, match everything. Make sure that it's coordinated together.
And she's that super detail-oriented gal. If you look at any Tarpon Spring show in the past, say in about the same amount of time, if not a little bit sooner,
and Paramount and
Crown and all, If you look in Crossman before, if you look at all those shows, all of the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, it's just good stuff, and that's what her specialty is.
Mm-hmm.
Molly's been my girl for a while, and I kind of get to hang out with her every now and then here in Florida, and just picking her mind about stuff, like the way she does think about that detail. Like, a lot of people don't know that, like, most of the costumes that she does, they're like individually sketched for each member, especially if you look back at Paramount, the Drawn Together show. Each one of those costumes was particularly sketched for the members, and all of the flags were sketched with the members' faces and stuff. It's just that eye for detail that she has that ties everything together that, like, really sets shows apart.
Yeah. I think that this new, and this is the last thing I'll say about this, but I think this new group of people that have come into the Troopers, like, they do have, within the last 3 to 4 years, all of them have, a finalist under their belt as far as them, what they're coming in to do. So they have that passion, that drive, that no one else has that. But I mean, it's a good idea to look at how all these people fit together. And I think they did it.
Now, do we think this pulls her away from Crown?
No. It pulls Andy away.
Right.
It pulls Andrew Ebert away from Crown because he was the production specialist, from what I understand. But Molly does a lot of the social media. She's the social media coordinator over there.
Right.
So Molly can do a lot of back end, a lot of, like, well, I guess front end. If you kind of look at it from a design standpoint, she's going to do a lot of the front end stuff for the Troopers, but can still run the media for Crown over the summers and everything.
And Molly's always working. That's the thing about her. She's one of those people that, like, never really, her brain never stops. So she's always, like, working on a sketch for this, or working on a flag for this person, or creating a new social media idea or blitz. Like, she's just always going. So I think this is, like, another outlet for her. If that's an easy thing to say for us people that, like, do this whole thing where, we kind of push ourselves to the bone. But she's one of those people that's just designed, like, her mind is constantly elevated and working on that, like, that surreal plane that the rest of us thrive to get to.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, in addition to that, there have also been some big names that I've heard being thrown around. I did hear Michael Townsend's name being thrown around, but then that went by the wayside this afternoon when Boston Crusaders announced that their entire staff is returned. So that's a really cool thing. But one thing that I heard, that there are a lot of people clamoring for the drill magic of Jeff Sacktig. Now, we haven't heard he's, going and accepting it, but I've heard there's a lot of interest. So I wanted to ask you guys, if you had to pick a new home for Jeff Sacktig, and again, we're not saying he's definitely leaving anywhere, but if you had to pick a new home for Jeff Sacktig, like, where would you really love to see his drill designs appear?
Well, anywhere, period.
Right.
Right. I've worked with Jeff before when I was in Texas at Round Rock, and I absolutely love, like, the process that he does.
Right.
Where was he last summer? Like,
Crown.
who did he work with?
Crown. Crown for the past, or since I think 2018 or 19 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just looking at what was up there, I'm sorry, y'all. Because I don't want to make anyone mad, but at the same time, it's just like, I would love to see Jeff's drill on, like, maybe the Mandarins.
Ooh.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about other names I had down here too, but I was just like, no. or, and I think it was mainly because of what we saw last, or I'm not going to speak for y'all, but what I saw last summer coming out of Spirit of Atlanta. That show concept with some static drill.
That show concept was ahead of its time.
He lives there.
He lives in Georgia.
He lives down the street.
Right. Shout out to Peyton, by the way. Hey, girl.
Yeah.
That's our girl. She's doing all that college stuff, band stuff for us now. She's killing it.
If I had my pick to put Sack
yeah.
Jig anywhere, and this is gonna sound so sacrilegious, I would love to see him at the Cavaliers.
Ooh.
I was just thinking that exact same thing.
I would love to see Jeff write for the Cavaliers. And it'd be so fun. And the reason I say it's sacrilegious is because Michael Gaines wrote for them for forever.
Yeah.
Back in the early 2000s. And they're both absolutely geniuses. I would love to see Jeff at the Cavaliers.
Agreed.
Awesome.
I have no idea I don't know what's going on.
We need a bingo.
I didn't even know that he was on the market per se. I thought he was staying.
He's not really. I just
really?
heard that a lot of people are like.
I was under the impression he was staying at Crown. So
yeah, probably.
Yeah,
probably.
So I would love to see. That would be if I had a pick. Sure, stay at Crown. If you like it there, stay at Crown by all means. But if he's a free agent, quote unquote, I would love to see him at the Cavaliers because two geniuses.
As an alumni, I would love to see that too.
Oh, I know you would, Ricardo.
Oh, I just want to jump in here right now and say this is a huge shout out to the General Effect podcast and also the General Effect Media. And it's Montoya. Oh gosh, I forget his first name.
Daniel Montoya.
Yes. So please go and check that out. Go check him out. Go check out General Effect Media. But a lot of this information that we got, or at least I got, is from his website. Oh, sorry, from his YouTube channel and from the General Effect Media website. So
can we pause for just a moment? Because I have to say, when that message came through the group chat with this website on it, and it was all this information compiled, I was like, it is like we in the drum corps world have our own fantasy league. Like the people that play like the sports game. I was like, we have our own fantasy league and we are keeping up with like the drafts and all of this other stuff. And it is the coolest thing in the world because, back in my day, we didn't have this technology to know all of this stuff. We had to read Drum Corps Today and Drum Corps World and all those magazines to find out any kind of information. And that was once a month in the off season that you got this information, if that information was public and put out there. So now it's literally at our fingertips that there's an entire webpage developed specifically to tell us where people are going and who are leaving drum corps. I just think we live in a beautiful time.
It is true.
We live in a beautiful time.
But speaking of that website did say that the Academy's looking for a new director. Ricardo, Nicole, you have any information on that?
Yeah, so Mark Richardson, who is the actual founder of the Academy Drum and Bugle Corps, after 21 years of grooming and growing his baby, and then has become a full-grown adult, Mark has decided to take a different direction in his life and step away from the Academy and turn it over to someone new and fresh. So right now, the Drum Corps is actively looking for an executive director. Josh T will remain as the corps director right now. Mm-hmm. But the Drum Corps, the board of directors, is looking for someone to kind of man the helm of the organization as a whole. So hopefully,
the board president, Fraser, Rich. You can send your resume to him if you are looking to fill that executive director position.
Yeah, and I think the qualifications are up on the ArizonaAcademy.org website. You can go and check and see. But I mean, the executive director, if you're thinking about like what kind of job the executive director does, I mean, the executive director does everything for the Academy. Like, first of all, it is a business. It's an organization that runs and works 365 days a year. It is not just the Academy Drum and Bugle Corps that you see, in the summer from June to August. It is a thriving business that works with programs all throughout Arizona. There is the Arizona Youth Color Guard that comes from that. There are other multiple smaller organizations that come from that. But it is a full-time 365-day-a-year job, and it's for somebody that is going to be tenacious and going to be out there and trying to raise money for the organization. They have to be a parent for the kids in the organization, as well as being a parent for the staff, and maintaining that bridge between the board of directors, who are the stakeholders, and the people who actually make the organization run from day to day. So it's not something, if you just like, oh, I just want to step into this thing and try to do this. No, like, you are running a multi-million dollar a year business, and the buck stops with that person. So it's a huge responsibility. No one's ever, I'm going to say it out loud, and I don't care, no one is ever going to be able to fill Mark's shoes, because that man, as far as I'm concerned, he walks on water, I think I told on the podcast before, when I got hired, the conversations that he and I were having on the phone, I was just like, this man is awesome. And then the first thing that happened, I'd never been to Arizona before. I got off a plane. He rolled up in his car to pick me up. He got out of the car, gave me a hug first, and loaded my bags into the car. And I was like, this is my home. And this is my new father. So it's going to be hard to replace him. But, if you feel like this is something that you can do, by all means, go to ArizonaAcademy.org. Look at some of the qualifications and put in an application, child. You never know, honey. We might be working together next summer.
All right.
Yeah, there are very few people who can do that job, and I am not one of them. That is, it takes...
That is not my ministry.
No, it is not. Shout out to every single executive director and core director out there, because holy crap, that is 9 jobs inside of one every 2 hours.
Yes.
Of every day.
And the next hour it changes to 15 different jobs.
Uh-huh. And I have so much respect for the people who can do that, because they gotta be people managers, they gotta be money managers, they gotta do all this stuff. They're nonprofit. They manage a massive, like you said, Ricardo, multi-million-dollar nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
So shout out to every single one of them.
So I hate it. I would hate it if we already talked about this, but if not, yay. But the Mandarins, they've had some. It's the Box 6 crew that have come in, and basically the only information I really do have on them is as far as they're changing or adding anyone to their staff. It's the percussion. So John Mapes is going to be the new battery arranger. Ian Grom is going to be the music coordinator and arranger. That's 2 arrangers for percussion already. Okay,
wow.
If you're keeping count. Connor Usada, he is the percussion caption head. And then we have Trent Gronwald, who's going to be the front ensemble arranger. They have 3 arrangers for their percussion. So yeah, it's going to look different. It's going to look good.
Yeah.
And it's going to sound different. But that was one big one too, because I knew the people in there before. And when I take a little bit of a look as well, like I know that with Blue Knights, a couple of people have kind of slip-flop too, as far as percussion goes. And I know I'm not the percussion person, but I see these people all the time, so I know who they are. Taha Ahmed, he is now the perk caption supervisor.
Love me some Taha.
Love Taha, man.
Yes, he's a genius.
And then, do y'all know Andre Edwards? If you don't, you need to. He is now, I want to say, the battery coordinator for Blue Knights. So it's not that people are new, it's just that people's roles are shifting. Okay. And I think that's actually happening in a lot of different
Yeah. Our very own Steven is doing a big bass drum episode next week, so I'm sure he's going to get a lot of that juicy gossip happening. So we'll wait and find out what's going on with that. But right now we all have to set up for a run through. So we'll be back in a minute with our What Are We Doing and Gush and Goes.
Hey everyone, it's Jeremy, and here are your announcements coming from the box. Don't miss all of our bonus content, including On a Water Break in Rhinestones with your host Lexi Duda, exploring the world of the Twirlers. Don't miss Parades and Drum Majors at Step Off with your host Jack Goudreau, and get lost in translation with your host Cynthia Bernard, exploring all the words that confuse all of us in the marching arts all across the world. And go behind the lens with marching arts photographers all across the country with your host, Chris Marr. Plenty more bonus content from On a Water Break, so listen anywhere you get your podcasts. If you want to be on a Water Break as a guest, or you know somebody that would make a great guest for On a Water Break, email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com or find us on social media. Okay, field staff, take it away.
Let's reset.
Okay, now it's time for a little segment we like to call What Are We Doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Okay, I'll go first. So, what are we doing, Old Navy? What are we doing hiring those people, whoever you hired, and I still can't find out who it is, to teach you probably had them in and had them teach an entire, flag choreo to use one little up and over on a blue flag. What are we doing?
So I've heard about this commercial. I have not seen it.
You haven't. Okay. It's played all the time up here, where I live. It's played all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it. I'm gonna have to go look it up. But that's typically how it goes. They always bring in a band or something, and they have to learn all this choreography and stuff, and then they use the least amount of actual stuff ever. Or my all-time favorite thing is when they hire people who have no idea what it is, and they're just we're going to get you these ugly rip-off band uniform costumes, and then we're going to have you just walk around waving the flag with ugly hand positions on a flag, and we're going to pretend like this is real band. And meanwhile, those of us who are in the world want to just stab our eyeballs out.
Exactly.
Speaking as somebody who's been on a reality TV show before with color guard folks.
Yes, I've been meaning to remind you about that I did see that. Project Runway bit.
Nicole, you did what now?
That's going to have to be on another episode. Okay. It's too much to talk about right now.
I'm calling you after this recording so we can talk about that.
You didn't know that? I saw
Ricardo, I need you to put me in on the conference call. I would love to hear about this.
Got it.
But yeah, so if you want it to look, and from this is color guard people, if you're ever in that situation, if you want it to look like color guard, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And make sure it's the 16 counts that can repeat. So.
Anyway, Jeremy, what are we doing?
So I know it's kind of an interesting topic in the community, the whole copyright thing, of course, the writers and the arrangers, they're wanting to protect their copyright. On the flip side, how are new people going to see the activity from, say, think about when you were younger, when you saw these clips on whether it was PBS or Instagram or whatever, these clips of these groups, and it's holy cow, they're so cool. I want to do that. If they're copyright striking every video that goes up, how are we going to continue? How is that chain going to continue?
You mean as
Listen.
far as like the old like WGI DVDs and like VHS tapes like that kids can't see those shows
Or if
anymore?
they can go on like public, like, like PBS, public broadcasting system places, be on TV. Like local.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff's still around, but there's so much stuff that, like, older videos that just, whether it was, we're selling it in these DVDs and then we're never making another copy again, so many of these older physical copies never made their way to the internet for other people to see. And at this point, it's becoming a lost media, which is just so unfortunate.
I know.
I will go down on this ship. But I am so over. This is a whole nother side that I probably shouldn't get into, but I'm so over the capitalism of everything. And something that is so publicly rooted and mostly geared towards kids and this niche population of people, we are missing out on it because corporations want to be greedy. And at the end of the day, it's education. It is pushing forward an art form, and art should not be capitalized on. It's just sad.
1,000%.
And I know that we, with all of our modern social media stuff, and people are very creative, and they make their little videos of snippets of stuff, but then they dub other music that has been licensed to do it. But I want to see shows. I want to see what that moment was supposed to look like in its original intent. And I want kids to be inspired by it. I want my students to look at stuff just like I did with my recording, my VHS recording of the PBS broadcast of DCI, that I would come home every day and watch the Cadets of Bergen County and the Blue Devils, and I would learn April Gilligan and Scott Chandler choreography, and I would go outside of my yard, and I would learn whole entire segments of the show because I rewound and fast forwarded every day of my life. I want the next generation of kids to understand what that feels like. They get the social media, we did this clinic and we did a phrase to this, but I want show segments, girl. I want it. I want it all. Right. I want horns blaring. I want drums banging. I want all of that.
Oh my God, Ricardo, you're such a nerd. I love it.
I am the biggest nerd, and I am okay with it. I accept it.
Yes. We found our clan. Our
Yeah. And guess what? I'm a nerd on a podcast talking about my nerdy thing that I love so much to nerd out to.
Me
too.
So, Austin, what are we doing?
Oh God, this is gonna get me in trouble. I already know it. So what are we doing? Firing staffs after 1 year at a drum corps?
Preach.
So let me explain this before I get blown up on social media. I know I'm gonna get a text message or two about this. I know it, but the Blue Coats have it figured out. They've had that same staff for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
They
successful.
also have a huge staff.
Yes.
Staff.
And the Blue Devils have had the same staff for how many years now?
40.
Exactly.
Rule number 10. You got to let it cook. Let it cook.
Exactly. Okay. Outside of the whole staffs doing or acting out and doing something not correct, such as behaving poorly. Sure, that's a completely valid reason. But for not getting the results that you want in the first year of insert staff here, that is not in my opinion, that is not a reason to fire somebody.
Nope.
Give them a chance. It takes time to build a culture. It takes time to do things and build a foundation to make things happen in order to have your group become more competitively successful.
Yeah.
I will play devil's advocate with you for a second.
I knew you would.
Okay. Because where I agree with you, there are going to be other people who are in those positions to hire and fire.
Sure.
That are going to say, well, maybe, you know what I mean? They'll have a laundry list of things,
And that's kind of where it covers down to the whole acting inappropriately in a certain way, like whether it be from staff to student, or staff to other staff member, or staff to up top. That's kind of where I cover that, and I completely understand.
But I think what is, and the other thing that's happening too is like, you can wait to see those results, because when I hear about something like that, I mean, it's not a caption head position that happens too. At least I haven't heard of it. Or a design, or you know what I mean, a designer maybe. I haven't heard of that either. But like where you have, you know, a lot of like marching techs or horn techs or color guard techs and things like that, and if you have this one person who, you know what I mean, has a laundry list of things, and mind you, is coming in kind of green, but also doesn't know, like they're teaching, but they don't know if they're being taught to, or either they're not on that bandwagon of, hey, I can learn a lot of stuff while I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I know what you're saying. And my statement kind of applies to the whole caption head, like the whole staff thing. It doesn't necessarily apply to individual tech staff.
Okay.
It applies to like, insert drum corps here has fired their entire insert entire staff because the caption head got fired because the caption head wasn't getting the result that drum corps necessarily wanted. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because there are countless individual tech staff who bounce around from drum corps to drum corps, and they don't necessarily stay with one family of staff per se. And it happens. I'm kind of one of those people. Like, I've been at a couple different drum corps, and I haven't necessarily had like a quote home staff where I've been with the same caption head for years and years and years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've had times where I just didn't gel with the caption head, and I was like, this isn't really working for me. This isn't working for you. I'll teach what you want me to teach, but I don't necessarily agree with it, but I'm going to remove myself from the situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
It applies to the full staff thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, like I'm going to use an example here. This is a bad example because this staff was here for a while. Like when the troopers fired their visual staff, it was kind of a shock to everyone. We were like, wait, why? Everyone was like, wait, why? But had that staff been only there for 1 year, it would have been like, wait, they just had a lot more success. Why did they get there? There's something there. There's something else there. Obviously, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. No one really knows unless you're actually there. But from an outsider's perspective, when I see somebody who's building that foundation and then they're like, see ya. Yeah. That's when I'm like, what are we doing? You know?
Mm-hmm.
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 So that's my hot take that I'm going to get in trouble. I know I'm going to get in trouble from that. I already know
It's all good. It's all good.
Get in trouble. It's okay.
We love
an opinion.
scandal.
It is an opinion, but I am notoriously good at getting in trouble for my opinions.
It's all good.
Ricardo knows that.
We should that woman from Housewives. It's my opinion.
No, literally. No, but actually.
Is it my turn?
It could be. I was going to go to Ricardo, but if you're ready, girl, let's hear it. What are we doing?
Actually, no, skip me. I'll be last. It's fine.
Okay. All right. Ricardo, what are we doing?
Child, what are we doing about this damn heat, this humidity, and this rain?
Turn the sun down.
I cannot. It doesn't even matter at sundown. We have for the last 3 weeks, there have been just monsoons. So much so that yesterday, my entire street was flooding. If you are friends with me on the Book of Faces, my neighbor posted a video because I was standing in my front yard, which was under a foot of water. And I live at the highest point in the county.
Can we put the
Okay?
video?
I know. We probably need to add the video on there. Hi, this is Ricardo Robinson-Shinall from On a Water Break Podcast, and I'm broadcasting to you live from my front yard, which is now lakefront property. If you notice, we've been under several inches of water, and the water has receded, but we did have some neighbors who tried to drive through the water, and unfortunately, their car did not make it. Bless their hearts. Well, come back for more live updates later on. Back to you guys.
Let's reset.
I mean, it is just every day. There's lightning, there is a monsoon, and if that's not happening, it is like 5,000 degrees. I know I live in Florida. I get it. I know it's supposed to be hot here, but in the name of Jesus, I want to walk outside and not feel like I am walking through a pot of soup every day. Today was the first time that our marching band got outside and like was able to do a full block outside and rehearse stuff. And even though we were outside, it was 91,000 damn degrees. I'm not a toucan. I was not made for this heat. I know. And I schlepped around in the desert all summer teaching drum corps, and that was nothing. 110 with no humidity, I can do all day long. 85 and 9,000% humidity like it is in Florida right now, I am ready to punch a baby. I cannot.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here.
I will fight you. I will fight you as devil's advocate right now.
Overall, in my opinion, based on what I've had in Orlando, not in St. Pete, where you live, I feel like this summer has been more mild than the past two.
Okay,
overall.
so last summer, y'all got all the rain, and it didn't rain here at all, and we were in a drought. This summer, we literally need a damn ark. I am collecting wood to build an ark so that I can get to and from rehearsal and my house every day because it has rained.
Ricardo needs a kayak GoFundMe.
Please do. I do. I need a kayak. I do. I'm over it.
The Shear Spinner Show presenting I Need a Kayak.
Oh my God. All right, Nicole, are you ready?
You know what? I'm gonna do something. So what are we doing? Actually, we'll go on what I'm doing right now too. But what are we doing? Not making sure that we have enough. I mean, and this happened last year, but hopefully it won't happen this year. But making sure we have enough judges at all of our shows.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is. It doesn't put more stress on the other judges. But I'll tell you that when that happens, though, sometimes they can't. There's not a replacement that can just be there, in a second. On the number side of things, logistically, somebody would have to either go with, you know what I mean? They would go without that caption score, or they double it from something else. And I mean, in some cases, yay, maybe, but I think there's more cases of no, I don't want, you know what I mean? I don't want to double that.
Right.
So, making sure people are there, and, giving them the best information that they can get just so they can make their programs better.
How common has that been? I haven't been in that side of it's not a very common thing. I feel like it was a lot more common this year than it has been almost ever.
Probably during marching band season, maybe.
Okay.
Not a lot, but some. And as this gets more people are wanting to do it, you're just going to get you're going to get all kinds, So that happens.
It does. But you know what else happens? Our gush and goes. So let's go off to our gush and goes for the week.
Great job, everyone. Set your equipment down. Gush and go.
Okay, I'll gush first. We talked earlier about the Blue Coats and their phenomenal staff. And I have recently just hired a Blue Coat staff member to do my choreography at Northern Valley Old Tapan. She's a former guest. She's a former guest on a Water Break. She was on our Mother's Day episode, Jackie Yerkin, also a former student of mine. I taught her in high school at Northern Highlands. So it's all coming full circle. I reached out to her in the summer when I realized I was losing my movement person who was a former student. And I said to her, I would love it if you could do it, but I get it. You're super busy with Fusion and everything else. Do you have a Fusion member that might be interested in helping me out? And she said, I'll do it. So it's been a really great experience. The kids love her. She comes in with all that Fusion gear on and they're like bowing down. So it's really been great. It's really been, a welcome surprise. So welcome, Jackie Yerkin. Jeremy, what do you want to gush and go about?
So I know it's just after Labor Day. It's the 5th of September, but audition season for next summer for 2025 is already underway. I mean, we've seen most of the world-class corps announcing either an interest form or like their actual registration for their camps. And we're even seeing a whole bunch of all-age corps starting to announce they call it open house, but it's the same as a audition clinic, really. But we're seeing, Atlanta CV, Reading Buccaneers, and Bushwhackers. They're all ready to go with their open house coming up in just a couple of months. Yeah, it's wild. It feels like 2024 just ended not too long ago, and it's already time to jump into. I mean, Troopers kind of really jumped the gun announcing their show just after championships, but we usually have a little bit of downtime before the next drum corps season.
Yeah. It's funny. It's just like, I remember because I was just there. Oh, but let's plan for, 2025.
I know. Troopers did not announce, however, maybe they're leaving us hanging on this one, whether or not the Sun Prop will make another appearance this year.
It better. I mean, it's now a member.
It's called the Final Sunset, so it better be. However, they did say that they did say something about #OriginalBlue, so here, look at that.
We'll wait and see what happens. Austin,
I wonder if that's a uniform reference. That'd be really cool to see them back in their traditional blue.
That would be cool.
It's a uniform reference for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the anomaly now. Wearing an actual traditional.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. Austin, what do you want to gush and go about?
Yes, I do want to gush and go. Speaking of the Troopers, I do want to gush and go. This announcement isn't out yet, but I'm going to announce it on here. I am now the program coordinator of the Troopers Legacy Corps.
Yes! That's my friend, guys. That's my friend.
Yeah.
Nicole, get on the staff announcement website right now. Get in there.
The Legacy Corps. I'm not replacing Tim Snyder. There's no way I could possibly do that. I'm not ready.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm really excited. The corps director, Tom Farr, got on a phone call with me somewhat recently and was like, hey, I want to talk about the next couple of years. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And then it was like a week later, like 2 hours before the call happens, he sends me this program coordinator document. And I'm just like, you want me to what now? And he was like, can you do it? And I was just like, I think if I have a little bit of help. And so I've talked with a couple of the other caption head staff, and I'm just like, with the other, like the brass and percussion people. And I was like, and I got a new percussion staff hired in there, and they're going to be great people. And I'm really looking forward to putting something together. So my entire goal with this whole thing is to keep it super, super fresh, but also pay homage to the Troopers history, because that's like that's the whole point of the Troopers Corps. You know what I mean?
Are you guys getting a sun prop too?
No, we're not that rich. We're balling on a budget here. Trish, we're balling on a budget. Like we are, however, going to show up to Soundsport.
Yes.
Next year. We are going to be in the all-age division of Soundsport in Indianapolis.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. So we're going to have some fun with that. I'm looking forward to it. And there's some other plans that are down the pipeline that we're going to try to do, and it'll be super fun. Love it. Yeah, congrats. I'm looking forward to this new adventure.
Yeah,
and it'll be a great time, and I get to work with the home team still. So I'm excited about it.
Excellent. Ricardo.
Oh my goodness. I have 2 gush and goes. My first gush and go, I'm just going to say the Lord is in a blessing business, and I can't go into detail about it right now. So, listeners, you're just going to have to tune in to the next time I'm hosting one of these. Maybe I will share it with you then. But my real gush and go, since I just teased you with that, I just literally halfway through the recording of this podcast, I got off the first design call for the Academy for 2025. And I am just so excited about the direction that we're going to take the core in next summer, and you know, just getting those talks going. You know, last year I didn't get the job until like October-ish. So starting off the 1st of September, and we're already planning our little retreat away to start, you know, kind of programming stuff. I'm very excited about it. So
I was hoping you were going to tell us about your musical reveal.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I did. I can announce that today. I am very excited. I am one of the first few high schools that is going to be doing Hadestown for a musical this year.
Ooh, that's going to be so fun.
Man.
Yeah.
I actually took my kids to see the touring cast of it last year. I was blessed with one of the local theaters here, like the local Broadway touring theater house. The education director called me and was like, "Hey, I have tickets. Can you bring your kids to see the show?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I took a bunch of my kids to see the show. And then the other half of the kids went to see it when they were on a choir trip to New York. So I have been in love with this show since before it made it to Broadway. I've seen it 3 times now, and I am going to get to like stage my own production of it this year. So
that's
gonna be great.
Cool. Oh, good. Excellent.
Check out our social media because we had some fun stuff with how we did our reveal this year. So Braden River Theater in Dance.
I saw that video and I was like, oh my goodness, y'all do the most.
The kids are great, man. Like I leave that social media stuff up to them and they just run with it. And I'm just like, all right, I'm going to unlock the door and you go to town. I'm going to sit over here and answer some emails. Y'all have fun. Create what you want to do.
Nicole, what do you want to gush and go about?
Mine's pretty easy. I just want to gush and go, honestly, about it being almost spooky season time and it's almost fall and I get to like put on more sweaters.
Yes.
And things like that. I'm sorry, but like I am not a summer. I will go out and do the summer things. And yes, I will go straight to the shower afterwards because I can't stand sweating.
Can't take it. I'm ready to move so that I can be in a place to pull out my fabulous sweater collection. Because it's heat. I'm over it.
We can do it in November, Ricardo.
For like 2 days.
Yeah, I know.
But we went to go get, spooky decorations and everything like that. So and my neighborhood is the cutest thing when it comes to Halloween because everyone comes to our neighborhood. It's adorable. I love it. So I'm just happy it's almost spooky season.
Excellent. Okay, well,
it's called Gush and Go, not Gush and Stay. Let's go.
I do say that actually every time we have a Gush and Go at marching band. I do say it's Gush and Go, not Gush and Stay. So gotta promote the pod. Got to promote the pod wherever you can. Okay, so all the tea is officially spilled, and we'd like to thank our host, Nicole, Jeremy, Austin, Ricardo, and our guest, Ronnie, for at least trying to come on, but we'll touch base with him really soon. One more thing. Don't forget we have our YouTube channel now that has many of our interviews coming out as full video editions. Go and subscribe so you don't miss those. So before you close out of your podcast listening app, go subscribe, write us a review, and share this with a friend. Follow us on social media at On a Water Break, and we'll see you at the next rehearsal on a water break.
Go practice.
Au revoir.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Reams. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.